Pay me, pay me, pay me my silver now. Pay me or go to jail. Pay me my silver now.
Good morning, Bix Weir, Roota.com with your morning horn disease, your sip of chaga coffee. As I start every newscast from now on, buy your silver. Get your silver into your own possession. Your account at a bank or anywhere will be gone. I don't know when. I can't tell you when. I can't tell you the day. I wish I could tell you the day. Clearly something gigantic is going on. I'll get to that in a second, but I had a dream last night. It was very vivid, very real to me in the dream state. I was explaining the road to Roota theory to a group of individuals, maybe 20 in the room, but Alan Greenspan was in the room, sitting there, and a very young Alan Greenspan. So it made me think, what is this, like an afterlife type of discussion? Because he's in his 90s. And he is a big part of the road to Roota. He's the guy who wrote the original computer programs to rig the markets, rig the gold and silver markets, especially, but all markets, back in the early 70s. And that's why he was put as head of the Fed. And then there is no other like him that created, well, other central bankers created more money, but not at a time when things were supposed to be going well. They used to call him Bubbles Greenspan. And he did it all on purpose. Destroy the monetary system, get back to a gold standard. Yes, Greenspan was a huge gold bug. I wrote an article long ago, and you can still find it at the front page of the Road to Roota if you scroll down a little bit, called Greenspan's Golden Secret. And it was all about what I learned from understanding the Road to Roota documents, the documents that came out of the Federal Reserve Bank of Boston. Greenspan is Roota. Roota is Greenspan, and it's also a computer program. It's also the basis of our electronic financial system. So all you quantum financial system people, this is your original quantum financial system controller, Alan Greenspan. Really interesting stuff. Go check, read the article. It walks you through exactly what happened. And every day we are getting closer and closer to that end day. You know, Alan Greenspan was the main one in charge of making sure that derivatives were not regulated in the late 90s. He knew that the bankers would just destroy themselves with derivatives, and that's what's going on right now. It is so much bigger than anybody knows. People are just walking around, oh, my bank's open today, that's fine. If there's trouble, I'll go take my money out of the bank tomorrow. It's not how it works, my friends. When there's trouble, you don't want to be 1 second too late. Your bank won't be open. You won't be giving out money. Now, Janet Yellen over the weekend said, no, this was a one-off. This was a one-off bailout of unsecured depositors. She can't get away with that. They're going to bail out every depositor at some point. But Europe might not. And we had long been looking for Europe to fall apart. Lindsey Williams said once Europe goes, then it'll be a couple weeks before the U.S. goes. And then here we have UBS to buy Credit Suisse for $3 billion as AT1 bonds get wiped out in record bail-in. So a bail-in is an interesting concept. It just means you don't get your money back. It doesn't mean someone else has that money. It just means you don't get your money back. Swiss government grants CHF $9 billion guarantee. Swiss National Bank offers $100 billion liquidity backstop. But $17 billion got wiped off the face of the earth, which means the derivatives attached to that, everybody who held that, who is kind of weak to start with, this is the big domino. Domino after domino after domino are going to follow on. Credit Suisse had massive derivatives. And that was always the plan. Use the derivative market to make it a weapon of mass financial destruction. That's where we're going to right now. I think there's 2 weeks or 3 weeks to pay off when the derivatives get triggered. This probably triggered, I don't know. I have no idea how many derivatives UBS or Credit Suisse was involved with. Clearly there were a lot. And then who they were involved with. Did they write the policy? Did they get the money? Do they sell them? Do they have to fork up the cash? Most likely they have to fork up the cash because that's how derivatives work. If you buy just a credit default swap on a certain bank from Credit Suisse, you pay them up front, which is great for them. They get money up front. But if the shit falls apart, they have to pay it in the back. And if they can't pay it in the back, then the person who took out the derivative gets screwed, and then their customer gets screwed, and so on and so on. And it's a domino effect. So we have, at least the big monster domino has been knocked over. Now there are bigger dominoes to come. Think HSBC, JP Morgan, Citibank, Bank of America. They're all going to go. I just don't know how fast. I would expect pretty fast, 2-3 weeks. But we'll find out, right? And by the way, ultimately the central banks are going to say, we're going to cover everything. We're going to print money for everything. And I was actually kind of shocked that the Swiss National Bank didn't cover everything here. These AT1 bonds getting wiped out, that's the first casualty. Although there were other derivative casualties at Silicon Valley Bank. So hang on, my friends. We're in it. Again, buy your silver, sit on the sidelines, and watch the insanity. That's all you can do. Go to your local coin shop first. You're going to need a rapport with these people in your local coin shops, because if the banks fall apart, they're most likely at some point going to be the ones you're going to be selling the silver, for 1 ounce of silver for $10,000, shit like that. And they'd be glad to buy it off your hands. Take it off your hands because they don't have any and everybody's asking for it. That's the world where we're headed towards. Fed panics. Announces coordinated daily U.S. swap lines to ease banking crisis. So the Fed is now doing daily swaps with other countries, so they're bailing out other countries. This was supposed to be all illegal, by the way. In January 2022, just around the time the Fed announced it was launching the most aggressive tightening campaign since Volcker, we warned, quote, remember, every Fed tightening cycle ends in disaster and then much more Fed easing. Fast forward to just over a week ago, when the Fed tightening cycle indeed ended in disaster when SIVB became the first of many banks to fail, triggering a chain of dominoes that culminates with today's collapse of Credit Suisse, a systemically important bank with $600 billion in assets. Then at 5 p.m., the easing officially began because while a bunch of laughable macro tourists were arguing on the FinTwit whether last week's record surge in the Fed's discount window was QE or wasn't QE, the answer, it didn't matter, because as we said, it's assured what comes next. The Fed finally capitulated, just as we warned over and over again that it would. And this is from Zero Hedge. At approximately 5 p.m., the Fed announced coordinated central bank actions to enhance provisions of U.S. dollar liquidity by opening daily dollar swaps at all major central banks of the world in a carbon copy repeat of the Fed's panic post-COVID crisis policy playbook. They're doing the same thing. They weren't allowed to do it. Where are the laws? They don't give a shit about laws. They have a stipulation, they claim, that if it's a systemically important problem, they can do whatever it takes to stop. Well, that means there is no rules around central bank printing, which we already knew. This is what's really intriguing me. Biden in touch with Buffett on bank crisis. What do you call it when an 80-year-old seeks the advice of a 92-year-old? Answer, the worst financial crisis since Lehman Brothers. So Warren Buffett has $128 billion in cash at the start of the year. I don't know how much silver he's already bought. I think he's been secretly piling it up out of Bank of America's structured derivative deal. I would assume it's close to 1 billion ounces. I think he's giving it to the U.S. Treasury to make silver eagles. But who knows? Clearly something's going on at the U.S. Treasury. Clearly, because they can't make more than 450,000 silver eagles every 2 weeks. Whereas every mint director before Ventures Gibson has been able to make 4, 5 million, 6 million ounces in a month. Ventures is stuck at 900,000 and has been stuck there for a very long time. This is fraud. Or it's an orchestrated plan to stockpile silver eagles and gold eagles for the new monetary system. As a matter of fact, that's what they said what they were doing. When they changed the back of the silver and gold eagles, David Ryder, the head of the mint at the time, said, "We are adding to the nest. This is symbolic of adding to the nest," especially talking about silver, because that's what the new back of the silver eagle is. It's an eagle coming in, landing, bringing a branch to the nest. You can't make this stuff up. It's just crazy. I get it. Get your physical silver now. Get it for whatever you can. I highly recommend getting U.S. coinage if you live in the U.S., Canadian coinage if you live in Canada, depending on where you are, because they can differentiate different types of silver. Silver made by the U.S. Mint is, by definition, legal money in the United States, whereas Federal Reserve notes are not. Those are just IOUs from the Fed. And yes, you'll have to pay a premium through the roof, but you screwed up by not figuring that out long ago. You didn't script that bad. You still do well with silver. But when we go over to gold and silver standard, one of the must-haves, must-happens, is that the value of a coined silver dollar, silver gold, whatever it's worth, gold eagle or a silver eagle, always has to be above the price of the metal content. Will always have to be above the price of the metal content. Otherwise, people would just cash in, melt the coinage down and use it to sell as just bars of metal, right? So it always has to have more value. It's not stipulated how much value. I would expect 30, 40% more value in coined U.S. silver eagles and gold eagles. And probably pre-65 coinage and everything made by the U.S. Mint, because that is legal tender in the United States according to our Constitution. Hope this is making sense to everybody. Don't know if it is. All right. So, yeah, I do think Biden is in touch with Buffett. Could be saying, hey, what are you doing? Why have you been stockpiling all the silver? What the hell's going on? It could be saying, Mr. Buffett, if you say you're going to bail out all the regional banks, then the people will believe it. I don't think so. I think if Buffett says I'm bailing out all the regional banks, I think there'll be a run on the bank. I think there's going to be runs on the bank anyway. I mean, who would keep their money in a bank right now? 99% of the population still has no clue what's going on. But as soon as people lose, let's just say Silicon Valley Bank allowed non-insured depositors to lose their shit. You don't think there'd be a run on every non-secured depositors on the planet? Now, Janet Yellen said this is a one-off thing. That's bullshit. It is not a one-off thing. They can't be a one-off thing. Because if it is a one-off thing, the next bank to go, well, the same thing will happen. Everybody would rush to the bank and pull their deposits out. Remember, a lot of these big corporations or medium-sized corporations, $250,000 of FDIC insurance is nothing. How do they keep a checking account at a bank if all you could do is $250,000 at every bank? How would GE or name any gigantic company do that? You see the problem we're in now? There is no solution other than bail everybody out. But if they bail everybody out, that would destroy the value of the dollar. And then everybody would sell their dollars. And then gold and silver would go to the moon. Oh, darn. So that's where we are. Complete cluster. Out of control. Hey, by the way, you guys haven't seen Jenny Constantine. Her on YouTube, she goes as Jenny Constantine's latest reading. Go check it out at Jenny Constantine YouTube. Definitely no funny business going on here. General readings. She's got some good stuff on the situation we're in. Go check her out. And I will be talking to Jenny on Thursday. That'll be a big one. So go check that out on the private road at Road to Roota. Again, back to this Greenspan, the dream. It got pretty specific into what was going on. And I'm going to do a private road discussion on this either today or tomorrow because it felt real. It's one of those dreams that, oh my God, did this happen or did it not happen? And it has huge implications because he was telling me things and he was just sitting there in the audience. He said, yeah, about the gold in the Grand Canyon, it's not just about the sand. So anyway, yeah, that's the woo-woo world on Road to Roota. Go check it out. at roadtoruta.com. If you want to join the private road, click subscribe today, and we will send you, at least for now. When silver hits $30, this giveaway is over. It's going to happen instantly, by the way. We're giving away the silver Roota Lives coin with every subscription, 1-year subscription or 1-year renewal. So if you want to get your silver Roota Lives coin, I don't think I'll be doing this for another week. Or probably, if silver breaks 30, I don't see it stopping at 50. It's just going to run and run and run. Because you need sellers. You need the banks to sell. They've just spent all these last 3 years getting out of their silver short position. And they're almost out of it. They're not going to sell into a big rise. They're going to ride it out. Especially since a lot of them might have a lot of silver. So go check it out, roadtoruta.com. This is Bix. I'll talk to you later.